I welcome to the Pursuit of Truth, and it's another one on death, unfortunately. Obviously, my mum passed away over a year ago, and I've talked quite a bit about that. So there was a death in the neighbourhood. Seems like death's coming closer. That's what it feels like, and it has affected me. And I don't know. I mean, I know I've always, like I mentioned, like my poems and stuff, and death, and that subject has always been in them, and but it has definitely been exemplified or changed or altered since my mum passed. And I don't know if that's because of the unexpected nature of it or bringing it home to me. But now I feel this. I didn't even know this neighbour that well. I only like spoke to him once or twice. I think on the last time when I said hello to him, he didn't even acknowledge. So, but I feel like I keep thinking about it, his death. Um, I only found out he died today. But a few days ago, I saw the ambulances outside. There was two of them for hours, and I thought something bad had happened, but because they left and I didn't see anyone come out, I assume, well, maybe they solved everything. I don't actually understand why the ambulances stayed there for so many hours, because usually my understanding of paramedics is they're only there for one question, and that's, does the person need to be rushed to the hospital, which is, well, they are a courier service, really, aren't they? Although obviously they can give life-saving stuff, obviously. I'm not trying to diminish that, but their primary job is to sort of get them, either sort of decide, are they, can I do whatever needs to be done, can it be done by the paramedic, or is it something where it's life-threatening and they have to be taken to hospital, i.e. the ambulance. Um, so I don't understand the amount of hours, and I saw them outside. I couldn't sleep. It's really weird because Amazon's come before. I was going to sleep, but I just couldn't. I sat on the bed watching occasionally, seeing them, take another ambulance turn up. That was the second one. Someone taking a big box inside. Someone taking a like a covering inside. Like those ones you get in the NHS. Um, but no one ever came out. Normally you see someone come on the gurney or whatever that thing is and put inside. That never happened. They stayed in there for about an hour. Like there were six people in the ambulances sitting in there with the lights on, and not I didn't know what was going on then, why they just stayed there, and then they just went, and then I didn't see anything. And obviously at that time I thought that if it was a dead body, it would go in the ambulance. I've later found out that actually it's they only do that as if they're on the transit or on the way. That's when it goes into the hospital mortuary. Otherwise, it'd be a mortuary who would come and pick up the body, if that's my understanding is correct. But I just keep thinking about this person and noticing them not there, even though like I said, I didn't really know them at all. But just seeing their house now empty, seeing their things being taken out, and thinking about how their life is now over. Like same with I did with my mum, thinking about, did she know those last moments, and now she won't be able to do all those other things, and how the world just seems to continue. There's a monument in the sense of that the house and the belongings, but the actual person is gone, and it's like feeling that kind of despair, like how it would have been, like the ambulances outside. I was going to write this poem called "When the Time Comes" because I heard someone keep saying this to do with death. But also was thinking about like with the ambulances, like my death or someone who's loved one. That's how it's going to happen, unless there's an accident. Is that one day the ambulances will turn up and everyone will be watching, and that's the way it's going to be, isn't it, for most of us? And to think that's how it was with my mum, and they took her away to try and save her, but were unable to. And just the fact that I witnessed, like here with this neighbour, those ambulances coming, and now knowing that he's passed, and seeing, like, the fact of seeing his friend alone and not seeing him walking around, you're seeing the not of the person, as it were, that's left behind for those, who are left behind, the remainder. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, I don't know why I keep thinking about it. But yeah, I don't know. Is it normal when someone very close to you passes that death becomes, I was going to say like your friend? It's not like a friend. It's just, maybe it's just because I did used to write a lot about it in the first place and always worried about my death or my loved one's death, from the age of when I was young with my parents. Like I've told you that I used to, when I would go to bed, I'd be praying for them to live forever. So that obviously that aspect's always been there in me. But my mum's death has really exacerbated it. And now, with it being so, me, because I didn't witness that, but now I've witnessed someone else's loved one pass away. And I was thinking about that, their loved one, and how, you don't see people come to people's house when they're alive, but when they're dead, everyone comes to visit. And I think that's going to be in the poem, that people come to visit you when you're dead, but not when you're alive. And you start thinking about all these things. I suppose because, like, is the end point. But then we should have thought about all these things, during. Like I've postulated lots of things to do with my mum, but it just seems strange to see, that someone's life is finished there. All the things that they were planning to do, all the things that were there. They're not going to get another Christmas or another summer or World Cup or whatever. And those people that are left behind thinking about, that loved one they're not going to see anymore. I don't know. It's just, so I wanted to ask you about it, not the one person or two people that listen. What is your experiences with close people dying, and whether it does change you and whether it does make you more aware? I mean, I know I've always been very, that's why I think I might be autistic a little bit, very like on emotions. I've been empathetic. I always feel these things. It's like I felt before I'd seen this person, I felt there was that, because of the amount of hospital appointments and the ambulances that would turn up, there must be something wrong. I don't know if that's my creative brain, like trying to create ideas, or whether it's just I'm picking up on things, or it's just like a Sherlock Holmes type of deduction thing. I don't know, but yeah, I just wondered what your view is of, because I just keep all the time throughout the day, especially at night time before I go to bed, I'll be just thinking about, like I did with my mum, that this person would have been, dying at the end of things, the fragility of life, the ambulances, that it was dark, the darkness, the things that are left behind, the trinkets, like I've written in poems about. I don't know, it's just, I feel that death, even though, like I say, it's a person I don't really know. Why am I feeling this aspect so much of this poor person losing their life? I guess it's like the humanity of it as well, because I'm human, and I know maybe that's it, is transferring onto, because I know it's a fear that I have for loved ones and for myself. And also I know that I'm witnessing something, like what I say, that, death is, like they say, death and taxes comes to all of us. That by seeing this, I'm seeing my future or my loved one's future, because it'll be exactly the same thing played out, like within variables, etc. And maybe that's why it hits home, because it's like a taste of that death, but it's not quite yours yet. But it's, like in Charles Dickens, it's the future to come, as it were, the Christmas Carol. I don't know. What's your view on it? Take care, take it easy, God bless, peace.